We all love fried food. French fries, wings, onion rings, fried chicken. But who wants to deal with the mess and added calories? Deep fried food has been linked to high cholesterol, heartburn, acid reflux, kidney problems, and even cancer and Alzheimer's. Now you can have all the fried food you love without the added fats and oil. Introducing the revolutionary NuWave Brio Digital Air Fryer. The NuWave Brio uses superheated cyclonic air to cook all your foods up to 50% faster while cutting calories by up to 70%. It's faster cooking that's better for you. Now make crispy air-fried French fries in just 8 minutes, crunchy onion rings in 10 minutes, and juicy homemade air-fried chicken in only 25 minutes.
Healthy and fried don't usually land in the same sentence, but I'm making healthy fried food at home that my family loves.
But the Brio does so much more. Chicken, steak, fish, vegetables, even brownies and fondue, all in one appliance. And since the Brio is dishwasher safe, cleanup is easy.
Good evening, Consumer Fox here for tonight's Consumer Report. Tonight's report is the NuWave Air Fryer. Yes, we have an hot air fryer that uses no oil, just hot air. Do you know of anybody with a lot of hot air? Do you know if they can cook food or not? Well, if they can't, then you probably need the NuWave Hot Air Fryer. Here to demonstrate this new product is our own Sonic Blue. We take you now to the kitchen of Cooking with Sonic Blue as he demonstrates the NuWave Hot Air Fryer. Okay. Well, here we are in the kitchen of Cooking with Sonic Blue, and only this is going to be doubling as a consumer report for the NuWave Air Fryer. That's right, you heard me, air fryer. It's not your typical deep fat fryer. It takes all of the oil out of your frying and just cooks with pure hot air. So it makes for healthier and happier cooking. And with the NuWave, you get this humongous booklet on how to operate it and some many different recipes that you can try. You can try stuff from buffalo wings to spinach stuffed chicken to chicken sauté, chicken tenders, butter infused chicken, Cajun shrimp, grilled ham and cheese, salmon with orange curry sauce, turkey sliders, apple glazed pork tenderloin, citrus green beans, bacon wrapped onion rings. I'm gonna have to try that one.
I love how it says it's like cook healthier and it has that right there, bacon wrapped onion rings.
I know, it's that strange, but yeah, you can make party meatballs, pasta bake, cheesy rice stuffed meatloaf. You can make Philly cheesesteak, Santa Fe stuffed bell peppers, kale chips, and you can make roasted tomatoes. So I've been looking for a really great way to roast a tomato, and I think I found it with the NuWave. So let's give it a shot. In this basket, the NuWave consists of this pull-out tray, which I have 4 hamburger patties in, and a detachable fry basket. The fry basket must be present when you cook your food, otherwise the unit will not work. It snaps into place so that you can pick the whole thing up like this, and the NuWave has a digital readout that tells you basically how you can set your time, your temperature, your preheat menu, and everything you need is right here. So, without further ado, let's test this puppy out. We're going to turn it on first.
Turn down the wattage, of course.
Yep.
Oh, it has to be in first.
Has to be pushed in first. So, let's just push it. Well, we'll take these out because it has to preheat first.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to take those out first. Those are very frozen. And we are going to push that basket in, set our wattage to 1500 watts, and we are going to preheat this sucker. We're going to hit start, and it's going at 360 degrees Fahrenheit, which is exactly what we need because that's default. So, we're going to wait for this to preheat, and you can hear the fans going. You know it's working. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait until this thing preheats, and we're going to pop these hamburger patties in, and we're going to allow the unit to air cook our hamburger patties. On top of that, we're also going to show you how to do air fried French fries and onion rings. So this is going to be very exciting. I can't wait. But the many things that you can make are They even have a little quick start menu up here to show you what to set your temperatures. You got your fries, frozen fries, your nuggets, your steak, your poultry, and your fish, all with appropriate temperatures of what to set your unit at. And if you're not sure, just take a look in this big booklet. You'll find something, I'm sure. Now, basically when we do our fries and onion rings, we're going to cook them both at the same time in the same basket. And how, you might ask? Well, there is an extra part here that is a separator that you put in your basket that you can cook fries and onion rings side by side and they don't get mixed up. So, we're going to get that out and we're going to show you how that works. And I believe our separator is in the dishwasher ready to come out. But when we are ready to put our hamburger patties into the unit, we'll go ahead and let those cook, and then about halfway in what we're going to do is we're going to season them and then flip them and then continue along the way. So halfway through the cooking time, which is about I want to say 8 minutes and 16 minutes. Yeah, so 16 minutes these things are going to be in, and 8 minutes in we're going to season it and flip it and then cook it the rest of the way. And then right before we pull it out, about the last minute, we're going to put the cheese on them. So then they'll be nice and melted and ready for eating when we're done. This is going to be really, really exciting. Okay, now we just got the preheat is done beep, and you'll notice when it goes beep 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 after it's done preheating, then you're ready to go. So what we're going to do is set our time. Okay. Now let's put our. Be careful, it's going to be very hot, and it's starting to cook right away because that's how hot it's going to be. So we're just going to push these in here real quick. Okay. There we go, 16 minutes, and we hit start. There it goes. Now, we just leave it alone, and then at 8 minutes in, we're going to flip them and season them, or season them and flip them. Now, here's the divider we spoke about earlier, and it's got these silicone tabs on the side that help grip the sides of your basket when you put your divider in. So, that won't be going anywhere. Okay, so once that's done, then we'll get to the next thing, which is our fries and onion rings, and we're going to show that after we're done showing the burgers. And while we're at it, too, we should cut up some tomatoes, some lettuce, get the whole 9 yards going. So, excuse me while I do that, and then finish the rest of the dishes, and that should be ready to go once I'm done with everything else. So, join us in about 8 minutes in, and we're going to flip those burgers and see how well they're coming along. Okay, it's 8 minutes, and let's take a look and see how well we are doing so far. Look at that. Wow. I'm impressed. Alright, let's get the spatula. Alright. And let's get some seasoning here. We feel like steak burgers? Bold Original.
Whatever you think.
Boy, this stuff did not last very long. I'm going to season them with some A1 seasoning. Okay, and we're going to flip them now. And look, all the fat just drains right through the basket there. Now you want to definitely be careful how you handle the basket here because it's going to be very, very hot.
Oh my gosh, is it hot?
Oh yeah. Flip that, move that to the corner, and as you can see, what once was overlapping is now in perfect
harmony.
It's being fit perfectly, so turn that over. And so now we can cook the other side. Let's season that before it goes back in.
That's what I was thinking.
Alright, now putting it back into the unit and allowing it to cook the rest of the way, and the time will resume once you put it back in. So that's the beauty part. You don't have to do anything else. Just pull it out, season it, flip it, put it back in, and it resumes. So in 8 more minutes, or 7 more minutes, we're gonna cheese them and let the cheese melt for that last minute. Then we'll have burgers. then we can move on to the next thing, fries and onion rings. Okay. Maybe a little bit more on those.
Yeah.
It's running kind of bloody there.
It is running sort of bloody.
Yeah, so that was going to require at least 18 to 20 minutes. So let's pop this in. There we go. And we're going to start for, let's give it 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're still working on the lettuce tomato bar. And that needs about 5 more minutes to be able to bring the meat up to the right consistency that we need, because it wasn't quite enough time. So if that happens, you kind of want to play around with the time a little bit, take a look at your food, and if it needs a little more time, then add some more time, but only add them in increments of 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want to overdo your food, but you also don't want to undercook your food. So you really want to watch how you cook in this thing. And if the instructions say 16 minutes but it takes longer, then it'll take longer. Not a problem. Nobody's perfect. Every recipe is different. And it also depends on how you make your patties. If you make them really thick, then it's going to be a lot longer of a cooking time than 16 minutes. If they're not so thick, or if they're frozen, they're going to take a little bit more time if they're frozen, or if they're not so thick, they might take less time. So always gauge the time and always test your product to make sure you don't get this in your burger. Very important.
I'm a taxpayer.
That one's still coming out red juice, so.
That's not
But I mean, they are, the outer appearance, I mean, it's coming along. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it once again, make sure we get the other sides of them cooking the way the upper sides are, because what I'm thinking is that particular one, I'm also going to move it to a nice warmer area once I get these guys flipped. Switch hands here. There we go. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to switch you with you. Boy, they really did shrink down a lot.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, we're going to cook up the rest of that time. I'm going to add another minute. Another 2 minutes should do it, and get the other sides of them cooking up nicely. But boy, did they shrink a lot. But I guess the hotter that you cook them, the smaller they get.
Apparently patties are like mostly water too, you know?
Mostly fat.
Oh.
It depends on how much fat is in the patties, and that's how you can determine how much your patties are going to shrink. 2 more minutes, and then we can add our cheese. We've got our tomatoes cut, we've got our lettuce, and we just need our buns. There they are. I knew we had some. Here's our buns. Hey, quit staring at my buns. Boy, one thing Fabulous likes is some hot buns.
Okay.
Alright, well, those are done. This one looks like it's still coming up a little red.
Ugh.
I don't know what
so
the deal
weird.
is. What is it with you specifically that's coming up red and everybody else is done?
Guess we should just microwave them maybe, or what?
Let's just see if my mind and eyes aren't playing tricks on me. No, it's coming up clear. That's clear. But just to make sure,
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna flip that guy over, and well, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay, let's just nuke that and move on, because these are already done.
Yeah, we're gonna burn them.
Yeah. So we're gonna just go ahead and nuke that guy. Everything else is done. I don't know why that specifically will not cook, but everybody else is done. Nobody's coming up red. Everybody's coming up just dandy. So we're going to cheese all of our existing patties, and then what we're going to do is close this back up again and let the surrounding heat kind of help melt that cheese down. Okay, now I put the cheese on, didn't turn on the heat. We're just relying on the heat that surrounds the residual heat from the recent cooking session, and look at that, already melted. So all we're going to do now is we're going to set these burger patties aside. We're going to get them onto its own plate. And then what we're going to do here, before we cook the fries and onion rings, we're going to rinse this out really good and make sure we get rid of all this grease and all that residual cheese that fell down to the bottom. And we're just going to pop those onto the plate here. These might become sliders before we're done.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Okay, let's go ahead and rinse these off. And be careful, it's going to be very, very hot.
Yeah.
It's one of the downsides to cooking with something like this. You're going to make a mess, but you're going to have to clean it for multiple items. But I wanted to show you how an entire meal is cooked in one of these things. I also want to make sure we show how to go about doing that for healthier cooking. And it's definitely healthier. All the grease just runs down to the bottom there. Unfortunately, so does a lot of the cheese. So let's go ahead and
Careful with this bottom tray. Man, it's hot.
yeah, I know it is. You definitely want to be careful when you handle this thing because it is going to be hot. Okay, so live and learn. Don't use an abrasive on these things. You want to use just a standard cloth, and it would help to soak your basket. Get up all of those stains and such. You don't want any of these fibers falling back into your food, so you have to pick them out by hand. Great. Once you pick out all your fibers from your abrasive that you're not supposed to use, which we found out a little too late you're not supposed to do.
She would have said manual, but it didn't.
So I guess if you're going to cook multiple items in here, it's best to choose which item you really want to cook in there, and then just cook that one item, then clean, so that you have the time to soak. And then you don't have to worry about having to go after this with an abrasive. I almost got it all picked out. Alright, clean as it can go. Now for this guy. Yeah, you definitely want to choose which meal you want to cook in there. You definitely don't want to cook multiple things. Now for this basket, it's best to handle it from the front, and that way it's the least hot. Because if you handle it from the back, that's where all the heat's going to be. But if you handle it from here, drop it into your sink and then fill it up with water, then it's going to cool off real fast and you can rinse it out and wash it better. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to let this kind of rise up a bit. Oh, and now we can handle it. See? There we go. Not a problem. Alright. Now this you can clean with an abrasive, but make sure it's a soft abrasive like this cloth here. Just with the basket, don't use any abrasive. Those fibers are going to get caught up in that net, and that's the last thing in the world you want going back into your food. Use a little soap. Just give me a little bit on the bottom there. Yeah, it's definitely best if you're going to cook a meal in here, let everything soak. Because I'm having a bit of a hard time scrubbing the fats and the residuals from our burger patties off the bottom of this. And without letting it soak for a while, you're kind of getting a lot of caked on stuff. It didn't take very long to get caked on. Out all the rest so we can see what we're working with. And then we got to dry it off with a towel because we're going to be using it again right away. So let's carry this over to the towel. Hopefully our food is still going to be warm after all that cleaning. But expect, if you're going to make a messy meal, expect a messy cleanup. There's just no way around that, and there's no easier way to clean this thing. That's the only downside I see to this product. You can't make multiple things in here without a lot of cleanup. But it's not really that bad in the cleanup department. It does clean kind of easily. You just have to let it soak for a bit. But there you go. Now it's dry and ready to use again. Let's get our basket. Shake out the excess water. Dry it up a bit. Make sure you don't scrub too hard with the towel because we don't want to run into any fiber issues again. And there we go. Now we're ready to use the basket. Put it together and we're ready to go again. There we go. Now to put the divider in, you got to go between these two notches and between these two screws. And there's your divider. So, with the divider in place, you can put half onion rings, half French fries. So we're just going to take the side with onion rings, and we're just going to dump a few of them in there. So I love my onion rings.
They are huge.
They are big onion rings. You definitely want a mix of sizes. Try not to fill it all the way to the top because you don't want to cut off your onion rings and make a already bigger mess than you're already going to make. So let's get some of these.
Not to mention, you halfway through you do have to shake them.
Yes, you do. And the other half of the fries. Now we tested half of this bag of fries and it worked really well. So we're going to put the rest of the fries in. And there we have fries and onion rings. Now, let's pull out our NuWave again. And since it's already preheated, we don't need to preheat again. So what we're going to do is we're going to start.
25 minutes. We're good.
Set it to 25. And halfway in, we're going to pull it out, shake it, and put it back in. So, make sure that our wattage is at 1500, just to be on the safe side, and our temperature has to be at 400 degrees. So set all of that once you're ready to go, once you're in, and give this an extra minute just to be on the safe side. And there you go. And then, when this is getting to be about halfway done, we're going to show you how it's coming along and how we shake everything, and then we'll put it back in, cook it the rest of the time. We should be golden. And I mean golden. In one more minute, we're going to pull this out. We're going to shake it up really good. Make sure everything is nice and loose. Pop it back in and cook it the rest of the 7 minutes. So instead of 25 for fresh fries, it's 15 for frozen. So kind of make that, definitely make that clear. If you're planning on getting a NuWave and you instantly put frozen French fries in for 25 minutes, it's going to be too long, trust me. So 15 minutes on frozen, 25 on home cut fries, and potato wedges also 25 minutes. But you have to add a little bit of oil with your seasonings, that way everything clings together and cooks together. Now, you're probably wondering what all the sizzling is about. I'm cooking 2 extra burger patties on the stove, so that way we don't have to use this. So, that'll be those burgers, and we got our fries and onion rings in here. It is 7 minutes. Let's pull this out and see how far along we're coming. Give it a good shake. As you can see, now your onion rings have shrunken down a bit too, because they're getting cooked up. Now, it's still a bit moist, and the fries aren't quite done. So pop it back in, another 7 minutes, they should crispen right up. After you've shaken them, getting all that extra moisture to separate from your products, especially your onion rings, which you definitely have to shake. And we're just going to pop them back in. 7 more minutes should take care of it. And if it doesn't, put it in for another 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Depends on how far along you are. Whew. Now this is cooking burgers. I don't care what kind of newfangled device comes out, this is a classic all-American way to cook burgers, on the stove. instead of this thing. So we'll use this for our deep fat frying needs instead of our gourmet needs like burgers. But we might actually be onto something if we cooked our burgers in there. But as you can see, we're still not ready to put our burgers together, and they've grown a little bit cold. So what we're going to do is warm them up in the microwave when we're ready to throw them all together, so that way they heat back up again. Or we can just toss them back in here and prevent it from losing some of its moisture, because when you cook in the microwave, you're cooking out a lot of the moisture that's in your food. So we're going to pop them back on this hot skillet and bring the heat up a bit more. And then we'll have everything ready to go, put everything together, and we'll have our fries, we'll have our onion rings, and we're going to do our scoring system on this NuWave Air Fryer after we're done with everything. So we'll join with Consumer Fox upstairs in the studio, because I didn't want him to be near all this grease going around. So he'll thank me for it later too. There's nothing worse than a fox puppet that's all greased up from burgers. I think we've had that before when we had him down here once we were doing burgers, and there's some grease got on him somehow. But little soap, a little water, clean him right up. He needed his fox bath. Going to cook burgers in here, then plan on cooking burgers but not the fries. Or if you're planning on cooking the fries, plan on cooking the fries in here but not the burgers. You got to choose which one you want to do. Otherwise, you're going to be here all day cleaning and then getting it ready for the next course, and then cleaning it and then getting it ready for the next course. You definitely don't want to do multiple meals in this thing. You want to choose what you want to make and then go with it. Alright, we should be done with our burgers here. We're just going to toss these guys back in, replace them with these guys. Just heat them back up from cold, because they've gotten quite cold since we were planning on throwing these together, but we ran into a little bit of a snag, so that's okay. We can recover just nicely. I'm going to move this back over the fire. There we go. Cook back up, my darlings. Cook! Cook! Okay. We got 2 more minutes to go on our fries and onion rings, and we're going to be able to pull them out and see how far along we are. The fries should be done. Onion rings, however, might be a little bit longer because they're bigger. I don't know. So hopefully when we pull this thing out, it's going to be just perfect. That's what I'm hoping for, is a perfect meal done in the NuWave. Alright. Still 2 more minutes to go. So let us at least get started with some of our buns. Get our buns together. And a couple there. Maybe a couple there. And a couple there. And 2 more to have for later. They should be warmed back up again, where we can throw them together. All we really needed to do is just heat them back up. We didn't really need to continue cooking these things. Because if we overcook them, then they become burnt. And we don't want burnt burgers. No. Alright, turn that off. We are done with the skillet. So we are going to leave this to cool. Now we are going to assemble burgers. Okay, and that's done too.
Well, nix that, assembling them.
Alright, so let's give them. Whoa!
Whoa!
Shoot.
Fox.
Give me the towel. Sometimes this happens too, where the basket will come off. You have to do this very, very slowly. It's too nice a job to rush. And you have to make sure that
You don't touch the basket thingy-majig.
Right.
The button on it.
It comes down and connects. It's supposed to come down and connect, but
Well, let's just
frig.
get it over here. Okay, okay.
Let's do this. Okay. Give it another shakeroo. Okay, now our fries have shrunk down. Onion rings might need to have been flipped too, but that's okay. They're very crispy, very done. All right, so now getting them out, that's another step in and of itself. Let's go ahead and get rid of this now. This is more. We still might need the spatula. How do the fries turn out?
Some of them are a little, they're cooked, but they're not crispy. How about that? But they're good enough.
Okay.
Now the ones on the top are done really good though.
Okay, here comes John's. Alright, now we just need the salts. Yeah, it was open. Okay. Okay, there we go. There's the salt coming out of there. Okay, this is now ready. If he wants to come out and put stuff on it, we're going to slide this back in. You have to warn, if you've got one of these in your kitchen, or if you're planning on getting one of these, you have to warn people that this is going to be hot after you use it. Because somebody might come along, slip, and put their hand in something very hot. So you got to warn people, I just used the NuWave, it's going to be hot, so watch your fingers. So, because there is no indicator whether or not the thing is hot or cool. But if you put your hand up here and you touch this part, you know it's hot, you know to stay away from it. But a member of your family might not be so lucky. So it's best to stay safe than be sorry. Yeah, that should be okay. Not the best crispiness in the world. Yeah, those are really soggy down at the bottom, so might have to put these in for another couple of minutes. A lot of guesstimations on this, so if it's not quite done and you don't see that it's done, I'm going to start it again. Wattage, time, temperature, 5 minutes. Alright. And then I can pull you out the rest of those onion rings. But first, a little taste test. Whew. That's hot. A little uneven tasting. It tastes so floury. It's best to cook these up as well done as possible. Otherwise your onion rings might not turn out the way they should. It could also be the make of the onion rings. It could be the method too, because deep frying it moistens it to where it kills all the floury aftertaste. Yeah, it might be eating healthier, but the taste doesn't really accent well the onion ring. But if you can adapt to it, then you can adapt to anything. But as for these onion rings, I'll just keep on cooking them in the deep fat fryer. You only live once, YOLO! So I'll just wait for the rest of these to cook up, and hopefully that floury aftertaste will have gone away, and then I can enjoy me some really good tasting onion rings and some really great tasting fries. The fries, on the other hand, do turn out really good. So if anything, I recognize this product for the fries. Burgers I haven't yet tried. Let me give that a try real quick too while we got it on camera, and just see how well air-cooked burgers tasted in the NuWave. Well, it's a lot healthier. I don't taste much of the fats in there that usually cooking them in a skillet would do. So it is healthier to cook this way. But like I said, if you cook burgers in this thing, you're going to be spending a lot of time cleaning it. Best to just select which meal you want to prepare in there, and then prepare the rest the traditional way. At least you'll be eating somewhat healthier. Or if you don't mind the time to cook, just keep in mind your food is going to have to sit here getting colder and colder while you're getting cleaner and cleaner. Just keep that in mind when you use your NuWave. In about 3 more minutes, my onion ring should be done. So, I guess that wraps it up for the NuWave Air Fryer. So tune in next time and we'll see what else we got cooking for you guys. And now we take you upstairs to Consumer Fox and the rating system. Alright, so you tried out the fryer. How did it work? Well, it worked fine for the most part. The next time, yes. I don't really recommend cooking too many things in that fryer. If you chose what you wanted to prepare wisely and prepared that one item, it'll be so much easier than preparing an entire meal of different courses. Oh yeah. So how was cleanup? Cleanup was a bit of a pain. Oh no. You need it's not non-stick? No, unfortunately it isn't non-stick. Oh, bother. But anyway, let's get to the rating system. Alright. Well, down below the screen we're going to have 5 points. And for every bad point we're going to take a point off. And for every good point we're going to put a point back on. So, let's have the 5 points now. Oh, nice. They're little fans. Yeah, they are, aren't they? Because of the fans that power the hot air cooker. Yeah. Anyhow, good points, bad points. Well, let's start with the bad points. All right. Bad point number 1 is that you're kind of limited to what you can do, and you have to keep guesstimating what temperature and what times based on how much amounts of food that you put in, and sometimes the cooking can be a little bit uneven. So that's a point off. Alright, so inconsistency, 1 point is gone. Now we're down to 4 points. Cleanup is a bit of a pain in the neck. You have to constantly scrub, and you have to be careful what you use to scrub, because anything with a soft abrasive, a hard abrasive, is going to pick up pieces of your abrasive cloth, and it's going to carry little fragments of that fiber in your basket, and that can easily get back into your food. So point off for that. Yeah, point off for that. Now we're down to 3 points. Oh, not good. Any good points? I think I've covered the bad points. Okay, good. Now the good points. Good points, and these are going to be putting points back on. It's a lot healthier to eat with foods that have been cooked in the NuWave. So that's a point back on. Yes, for health reasons, that's a point back on. That's a serious point back on. So now back up to 4. Now we're back up to 4. Alright, can we get it back up to a perfect 5? I don't think we can, because otherwise the product does what it says it does. Some foods taste good with it, some foods don't taste good with it. It depends on how health conscious you are, based on how delicious you want to make your food. If you don't mind eating flour, then by all means cook your onion rings in it. If you want a really good way to cook fries, then I definitely recommend this item. If you want to cook burgers with it, be very careful, because it is a mess and it's something you have to scrub. But when you scrub, you have to make sure the fibers don't get caught in the basket. That's pretty terrible. I used dust and clean it really good. Well, you're supposed to soak it. Soak it? Yeah, for quite some time. If you do anything greasy with it, expect to soak it for a long time in very hot water with soap. Well, isn't that good, a good measure anyway? Well, technically it is. But a lot of these products that you see on TV are easy cleanup. This one is no easy beans. So, 4 points? I'm going to give this product a 4 out of 5 hot fans. There you go, so 4 out of 5 hot fans for the NuWave Hot Air Fryer. Well, don't just take our word for it. Try it out at your home tonight, the NuWave Hot Air Fryer. If you want to eat health conscious, then pick yourself up one of these devices. It might be the wisest decision you've ever made. And if you don't mind having foods that taste like flour, I definitely don't recommend cooking your onion rings in it otherwise. Yeah, that could ruin the flavor. It sure did. So, even though heating your food up in a hot air fryer like that one is more healthier, I'm going to have to go with the best flavor, and that's deep frying them. Oh my word, you're actually going to do that? Well, why not? Some of the recipes do call for oil. Oh my word. You're supposed to be eating healthier, not adding more oil in it. Well, some recipes do call for oil. You just gotta really read the recipe book and really read the instructions. But it's easy to operate, so it does the job it's supposed to. I wouldn't really vote against anybody getting a NuWave Hot Air Fryer for their homes. Just be very careful when you clean it. Amen to that. That's all the time we have for tonight's Consumer Report. This is Sonic Blue, and this is Consumer Fox, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's Consumer Report. We now take you live back to the Untitled Studios. And not a moment too soon. Yeah, not a moment too soon. Now, I have a hankering for some deep fried onion rings, And I don't care if I got a block of colon with it, at least it'll taste good. That's not very good advertisement of the product. Oh, and the product is good. You just gotta watch what you make in it. There you go. I can live with that. Can I have some of those onion rings? Not a chance. Come on.